In this video, we will learn how to create a new user for our database, and we will learn how to create a database as well. So we have logged in into MySQL, and let me do this one more time just as a refresher. So to quit this process or to log out of MySQL, I will use exit, and now I logged out. I will list the files. I'm right now in the bin folder of MySQL. I'll check my location. It's user localhost MySQL version I have installed /bin. So again, to start or to log in into MySQL, I use the following command /MySQL --u for user, and then I at this moment have only one user, which is root, and then space -p to be prompted for a password. So I hit enter and provide MySQL root password. Okay, now I'm logged in. To have a look what databases I currently have, I use the following command: show databases, and then hit enter. These databases were installed together with MySQL. I did not create these databases, and we are not going to work with them in this video course as well. To create a new database, there is also a very simple command. It goes like this: create database, and then the name of the database. I will give it a name photo_app, and then semicolon, and hit enter. And now my database is created. At this moment it's empty. There's really no tables. And to begin working with that database, you first need to use command use space photo_app, which is a name of the database I have just created. So use photo app, hit enter, and database changed. If I want to switch to a different database now, for example, I have MySQL in a list, I will use the same command use and then MySQL and hit enter. Database changed. So before you can do anything with the database, you need to first change to that database and start working with that. So I will use photo app again, use photo app, and I will look up if it has any tables. At this moment it should be empty, so I will use show tables and hit enter. And it says empty set, no tables created. Okay, so now you can continue working with this database as a root user. It will work, and you can use a root user and password in your project, but this is not recommended and is not secure if you start using your root password in different projects, and it means that your root password will be in property files of different projects. So it's better to create a new user for this particular database. So now let's create a new database user. I cleared my screen and resized it a little bit, and to create a new user I need to be logged in as a root user. So right now I'm logged in as a root MySQL user. I can exit it and show you how to log in one more time. So I logged in with the root user and then prompt for a password, provide MySQL root password, and now I'll need to create a new user for my existing database. To create a new user, we use create command, and it goes like this: create user, and then we provide username. So I'll give it user Sergey, and then add, and then IP address or the domain name of your database server. I'm running it on localhost, so I will use localhost, and then we provide the password using identified by, and then the password for this new user. So let's create this user and hit enter. Now we should have one user created, and now I need to give this user privileges to work with the database that we have created. So to grant this user privileges to work with the database that we've created, we use a grant all privileges command, grant all privileges, and then we say on, and I will provide database name on photo app dot, and then everything. And now I need to provide the user I'm granting this privileges to. So the user is Sergey at localhost, like this. And this is it. I'll put semicolon and hit enter. And I think I made a typo in the word privileges. Let me go back to the word privileges and correct this type of privileges, hit enter. Okay, now the command worked. I will now flash privileges and I can use this user credentials right away. So what I will do, I will exit from a root user, and now I can log in into MySQL using the new user credentials I have just created. So I will use MySQL, and this time user will be Sergey, and prompt for password, and the password is Sergey as well. So type Sergey and I'm in. It worked. Now I can list databases and see what I have. I now have access to fewer databases than a root user, but I do see my photo app database, so I can use that database and I can list its tables, but at this moment it's empty. So I use show tables command and it's empty. So it's working, but the good news is that we don't really need to create database tables ourselves. When we work with Hibernate and Spring Data GPA, the database tables will be created out of the entity objects, Java entity objects that we define. We create a Java class, we annotate the class and its fields with special annotations, and then the framework will create a database table if it doesn't exist using the information we have specified in that Java class. Okay, so let's continue.